My brother's wedding was the most painful day of my life. I was shoved into a corner table while my billionaire father toasted my younger brother, calling him the pride of the Bradley family. What they didn't know was that just 2 weeks later, I'd walk into their $2 billion corporate meeting in full 4-star military uniform. And when they realized who I really was, their jaws dropped. If you've ever been underestimated, looked down on, or treated like you were nothing, stick around. Because this is a story of how I went from being the failure of the family to exposing $1 billion secret and finally earning the respect I deserved. Oh, and if you love satisfying revenge stories like this, hit subscribe, smash that like button, and let's dive in. I'm William Bradley, 37 years old, Major General, Director of Cyber Strategy at U.S. Army Cyber Command. That's right, the guy they call the failure of the Bradley family secretly oversees multi-billion-dollar defense operations, leads an elite cyber unit called Ghost Grid, and once testified before Congress on international cyber warfare. But my family, they don't know any of it. Why? Secrecy. Most of what I do is classified. To them, I'm just a soldier, a guy who wasted his potential. And my father, James Bradley, CEO of Nixor Dynamics, one of the biggest cybersecurity companies in the world, never misses a chance to remind me that I threw my life away. My younger brother Brian was getting married at a 5-star hotel downtown. Brian, the CFO of Nixor, the golden child, the one who carried the family name forward. When I arrived, I was seated at a side table, not with family, not even close. I overheard my dad bragging. Brian's taking the company global. He's going to triple revenues in 2 years. Then my aunt leaned over and whispered, "It's a shame William chose the military. Such wasted potential." Each word felt like a knife twisting deeper. And yet I stayed silent, smiled, nodded, swallowed the humiliation. But the final straw, when Brian raised his glass during his speech and said, "To everyone who believed in me, especially Dad, and to William, for serving the country, I guess." The room laughed politely. My jaw clenched so tight, I thought my teeth might crack. That night, I sat alone in my hotel room staring at the ceiling, replaying every insult, every dismissal, every time my father looked at me like I was a disappointment. And that's when I made myself a promise. One day, they'll know exactly who I am. 2 weeks later, fate handed me the perfect chance. The Department of Defense discovered a massive cybersecurity breach. And guess which company's tech was at the center of it? Nixor Dynamics, my father's company. Billions of dollars in government contracts were on the line, including Project Helios, a top-secret defense system designed to counter foreign cyber attacks. As Director of Cyber Strategy, I was put in charge of the entire investigation. I didn't request this case. It found me. And suddenly my lowly soldier self was about to walk into my father's corporate headquarters with the power to shut his entire company down. The boardroom was packed, executives, investors, analysts, and my father at the head of the table. I walked in wearing full U.S. Army uniform. For stars on my shoulder, ribbons gleaming, the Ghost Grid emblem stitched proudly on my chest. You could hear the oxygen leave the room. Brian's jaw actually dropped. My father's pen froze mid-signature. Dad cleared his throat, trying to recover. "William, what were you doing here?" I placed a folder on the table, calm and deliberate. "Mr. Bradley, I'm here on behalf of the U.S. Army Cyber Command. We're investigating your security protocols and financial records related to Project Helios." You could practically feel the shock ripple through the room. These were the same people who had called me the disappointment. Now I held their billion-dollar future in my hands. As we went through the documents, I revealed findings from my team, hidden offshore accounts, security vulnerabilities that could compromise national defense, and evidence that someone inside Nixor had been selling classified access keys. Gasps, murmurs, eyes darting. Then I turned to my brother. "Brian, you recognize the signature?" He stammered. I, I don't know anything about that, but I did, and so did everyone else. Within minutes, it became clear that Brian had approved a shady third-party deal, one that could have exposed sensitive defense data to foreign entities. I watched my father's proud face crumble as reality sank in. The entire boardroom waited for me to speak. This was it, the moment I had dreamed of since that humiliating wedding speech. I leaned forward, locking eyes with my father. "Mr. Bradley, if Nixora doesn't comply fully, I'll have no choice but to recommend terminating all government contracts." Billions. Gone. Dead silence. Brian's face turned pale. Then my father whispered, almost broken, "General Bradley, we will comply." General Bradley. For the first time in my life, he said it with respect. Later that evening, my father called me into his office. No audience. No investors. Just us. He sat there quietly before finally saying, "I was wrong about you, William. I should have been proud a long time ago. For years, I had chased his approval. And finally, I didn't need it anymore. We talked for hours. We laughed. He apologized. I forgave him. The next week, at a family dinner, my father raised his glass and said, 'To my son, Major General William Bradley, the man protecting our nation's future.' And this time, the entire room stood and applauded. For years, I thought I needed my family's validation to prove my worth. But the truth? Respect isn't demanded. It's earned. And sometimes the sweetest revenge is simply becoming everything they said you couldn't be. If this story gave you chills, smash that like button right now. Drop a comment below and tell me, have you ever been underestimated and proved everyone wrong? And don't forget to subscribe for more incredible, emotionally charged revenge stories. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next.